In keeping with the other impractical provisions in H.R. 7, the amendment adds another onerous requirement on small businesses who will be stuck with the bill. Representative Ocasio-Cortez's amendment would create a new program for the Department of Labor to, I hate to say this word, quote, train, end quote, employers regarding bias in negotiation and other wage-setting practices. The amendment includes a non-exhaustive list of 13 wage-setting practices on which employers allegedly need education. Employers may understandably view this list as 13 new ways for trial lawyers to allege violations of the Equal Pay Act. I'll compliment one aspect of Representative Ocasio-Cortez's amendment. It mentions compensation self-audits. Republicans agree that self-audits can be a useful tool in combating pay discrimination, and we urge support for the Republican substitute amendment, which encourages employers to conduct self-evaluations to identify potentially unlawful pay differences and to take steps to rectify any unlawful pay practices. Unfortunately, H.R. 7 does not encourage these self-evaluations. Representative Williams' amendment reestablishes the Obama-era National Equal Pay Enforcement Task Force. This amendment would establish another politically biased government bureaucracy that includes agencies such as the EOC and the Department of Labor, already tasked with enforcing laws against pay discrimination and ensuring compliance with those laws. Madam Speaker, I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentlewoman from North Carolina reserves. The gentleman from Virginia is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to my colleague from Virginia, Mr. Byer.
Gentleman's recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today to urge my colleagues to support my amendment to H.R. 7. I was privileged to serve on the Science Committee and studied physics as an undergraduate, and I've always been impressed with the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. It says you can't measure something without changing it. And as a longtime businessman, we always wanted to be driven by data because you can't manage what you don't measure. Well, receiving equal pay shouldn't have to depend on an anonymous note writer letting you know that you're being underpaid. Guaranteeing that women and men receive equal pay for equal work is a principle rooted in our nation's commitment to equality and fairness. My amendment would require employers to report pay data by race, national origin, and gender to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and for that data to be shared with the Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs. It would lengthen the time frame for inception in the pay data collection from 18 to 24 months, providing the EEOC with more time to develop and execute an effective pay data collection. I believe this is not apocryphal, Madam Chair, to say that more than 90% of paychecks are prepared by software, either internal or external. I remember preparing paychecks by hand, but it's a very small business that does that anymore. That software will evolve overnight, probably through the course of this debate, and the burden is likely to be small. The amendment also permits, but doesn't require, the use of pay bands or hours worked data and provides the EEOC with flexibility in what type of compensation data to use. And importantly, it also gives the EEOC the discretion to collect additional employment-related data, but also to consider employer burden, data format, and confidentiality. Pay data reporting by employers promises to shine light on race and gender pay disparities, increases the likelihood of employer self-analysis and self-correction, and identifies area of concern for further investigation by enforcement agencies. Reporting this data will also allow the EEOC to see which employers have racial or gender pay gaps that differ significantly from pay patterns from other employers in their industry and region. I can also say after almost 50 years of adapting to federal regulations, almost every business can find a way to profit from it. And from that, I yield back.
Gentleman's time's expired. The gentleman from Virginia reserves. The gentlewoman from North Carolina.